Hello and welcome on Mindset&Co. If you're new here, my name is Maureen, and in here we talk about mindset, we talk about breathwork, we talk about spirituality, and a lot of things. So today we are going to talk about the biggest lesson that I've learned on my trip to France. Okay, if you have followed my Instagram tales, my Instagram stories, you probably know what happened and everything that happened. But I thought that it would be nice to actually do an episode on this and record this just so I can actually get the lesson out of this, because there is a lesson, I promise. So before we dive really into the lesson, I actually have to give you a bit of context so you can understand really what happened and what was the lesson from it. And hopefully, you can link this to something in your life, because what I'm going to tell you is something easy to listen, but it's hard to apply in your real life. And that requires a bit of experience, a bit of time, let's say. So let's dive into it. I went to see my family in France. So from the place that I am right now and where I live, this is quite a long trip, all right? We're talking about 2 different planes with a layoff. We're talking about crossing an entire country plus an entire ocean. So it's a bit far. Yes, I do live in Canada. And so it started with our first flight. Okay, there was a series of events that made it to be a great lesson for me. Okay, what I'm going to tell you about is a series of events that happened. I'm going to try to make it short and concise because this is not a story time, but I do have to give you that context. So it started with the first flight that was completely delayed, being delayed from 9:30 to 12:30. So it was not a big deal at first for us because we were at home, so we didn't really care. But still, we had to change our second flight, okay? And so I had a big suitcase with me, a big suitcase. And so we arrived to Paris, mind you, like 9 hours jet lag and pretty tired. All right, and I wait for my suitcase. Well, guess what? The suitcase never came on that rolling thing, okay? It never came. And I knew they had lost it somewhere in the chaos of an airport, one of the airports, I don't know which one. But so eventually I found out that they left it in a layover destination. Why? I don't know. The ticket just didn't print well on the suitcase and it just stayed in Montreal just waiting for me. And so basically the first few days that I had in France was just me waiting for my suitcase. Okay, was me figuring out, every day that I missed this and this and this. And eventually I had to go shopping. I had to buy clothes. I had to buy toothpaste, contact lens product. I can do it. All these things. But you know what? In that moment, I was just so tired. And, the lady who was helping me at the airport figuring things out, she just said, it's going to be delivered to you. When, it's brought back to Paris, it's going to be delivered to you. And they're going to call you in the morning and let you know like what time in the day they're going to deliver it to you. And she said, don't let it ruin your day or whatever. Like, don't wait at your hotel or Airbnb or whatever, because they're going to call you in the morning. And you know what? It hit home. I thought, okay, I'm not going to let it ruin my whole trip. What's the point? Like, if I can pay a trip to Paris, I can pay for some clothes and toothpaste and toothbrush and all of that stuff. No problem. Like, I'm not going to let it, behold me. Those are just material things. What I'm going to leave is experience, and I'm going to enjoy that experience because it was really expensive. So I just kind of took a step back and thought, okay, you know what? Whatever solution is going to come up, it's going to come up. Like, it's not a big deal. The suitcase is going to turn up. Even if it doesn't, those are just material things. Like, I don't need this to be happy. I don't need my suitcase to be happy. So that was the first thing that happened. Mind you, during that trip, a lot of other things happened. I went to buy new glasses because it was cheaper in France or something. So I went to buy new glasses. And when they received the new lenses, they reversed the lenses from the one that was supposed to be on the right was on the left, and the left was on the right. And so they needed to send it back, and I knew I had to wait for the glasses to be ready, but I was leaving the next day. And so again, I took a step back and I thought, you know what? It's totally fine. They're gonna figure it out for me. They're gonna figure it out. They're gonna send it back to my home, to my place, and I just gonna have them, whenever I get back at some point. And that's totally fine. And the last thing was, again, the planes. The first plane we took was delayed for an hour. We had to stay in the plane because they were doing some military training or something. And when we landed to our layover, we learned that there was a 3-hour delayed. And this one was probably the hardest because we were in a 7-hour flight. Well, 8-hour flight actually, and we were already pretty tired, and then we knew we had to wait 3 hours plus another 5-hour flight. So this one was hard for me because I was already super tired. I felt gross because I didn't shower. We were super jet lagged, and I just didn't feel good in that time. And so that one was really hard to just calm down. But I just thought, okay, you know what? It's fine. And I actually learned during that time that if your flight, with this specific company, if your flight is 3 hour or more delayed, you get a $400 Canadian dollar compensation for it. So, I was annoyed, but I was okay. And sure enough, when I got home, and this is when the lesson came in, that when you actually take a step back, when you have all these things that happened to me, you could say, oh, that was such a terrible trip, or those were like inconveniences into your trip, and that really sucks. And yeah, those things kind of sucked, but in the end, if you don't let it ruin your day, your trip, your situation, how far can it get to you? Because those are just little inconveniences. That's all it is. And there's always a solution into things. And so, the first thing that happened for my suitcase, I'm going to get compensation for all the things I've spent. So in the end, I just got a nice shopping for free, And before I left, I just thought, I need new tops because I'm always keeping my clothes for 10 plus years. And then they get just ripped apart into the washing machine, and then I need to get new clothes. That's my cue. And I needed new tops. And guess what? That was brought to me somehow and for free because I get to go shopping and I get paid back for it. So in the end, that was actually, pretty cool, even though it sucked still, but that was nice to just think that there was a solution to it. And the, for the glasses thing, they're going to be sent to me. That's not a problem at all. I already have glasses. I just have to wait for the new ones. It doesn't cause any trouble. And then the plane back, I already got compensation for it. I got $400 of compensation for it. Like, what? Okay. So, and that was just me kind of, trying to not be so annoyed by it and just kind of taking a step back and still enjoying my trip and still enjoying the present moment and the time. And sure enough, what I'm saying, like I've mentioned, is easy to listen to. It's easy for me to say that, but it's hard to apply in real life. And so that's the lesson I wanted to share to you today, because surely there's something out there that might annoy you and a situation that you might see as the end of the world. But truly, I promise you, it's not. Most of the time, those things happening to us just require us to have a bit more calm and just enjoy the present moment, knowing that there's a solution for you out there. I promise you, there's always a solution for you out there in those situations. And to me, that was just the biggest reminder, the biggest lesson, because I had this amazing trip that I had planned for so many months. And if I had wanted, I could have complained the whole time of all these little things that kept happening. But I didn't want it to ruin my experience, because I still wanted to have a good time for all this, pre-planning time and money that I had put, money and energy and love that I had put into organizing this trip and spending time with people that I love and just enjoying the little holidays that I have during the year and the little time off I have during the year. And so I feel like the universe really did send those messages as a reminder to just chill, okay? Take a step back and just really notice the beautiful things around you. Know there are solutions to everything that you want to. And when you are able to be in that mindset, in that space, then this is when and only when the solutions and the beautiful things come to you. Because when you complain, guess what? First of all, that doesn't help your situation. However, when did complaining actually help the situation? I know personally, in my case, it wouldn't have changed nothing. The suitcase would still have been in the layover destination. The glasses would have been, still the lenses would have been reversed. The other plane situation delay, the plane would still be delayed, whatever I would complain about. So there was nothing that could be done except wait and just be here and just being thankful and grateful that I actually got to live those situations, that I actually got to be on a plane, that I actually got to travel and be to an amazing destination, to have food and to actually have money to, enjoy that trip. So bringing gratitude into it is the key. And sure, at first it was hard for me to see that, but when the situation passed and you suddenly are able to bring a neutral view into this is when you realize that there are actually blessings in those situations and lessons into it. So anyway, that was kind of a shorter episode. I don't want to make it too long, but I just kind of wanted to share the vision that I had and what happened to me during that trip, because I was just so amazed to the solutions that came up and the beautiful things that came up with that in the end, because I do see them as blessing and as a lesson from the universe. And trust me, it took me time to actually get there, to actually be into that mindset and that space. It took me training to see the beautiful things in what we could see as negative things. But I came to understand that most of what we see as big problems are just little inconveniences. That's all it is. Most of it is all material that we don't really need in the end, or it's just situations that we're just going through. But if we would just enjoy the present and, just enjoy wherever you are, whatever situation that you are in, this is when you actually get happy in life and get truly bliss in life. When you're able to see everything, whatever your environment, whatever your situation is, when you're able to bring that gratitude just for being alive and breathing and potentially being healthy, that's all you need, okay? Everything else outside of your main needs, like eating, for example, or drinking water, all of that is just an inconvenience, but it's not the end of the world. So anyway, I hope that this episode helped you in any way. Please think about me whenever a situation like this happens to you, and just remember to take a step back, take a deep breath, take a step back, and just try to see the beautiful part in it and the lesson in it. And you'll see that right when you are in that mindset, there will be a solution to it. I promise you. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment. Let me know if this has happened to you as well. And yeah, I guess that's it. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in another episode.